Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Parenting. This is the show where we talk about the good, the bad, and the beautiful side of co-parenting and parenting. Today, we got a very special guest. She's well known to making people laugh and enjoy themselves. Actually, as a matter of fact, why am I introducing you? Please, Miss Kaylee Lardmouth, introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylee Lardmouth. I am a saleswoman for my 9 to 5. I'm a stand-up comedian. I am a steel pan musician, and I'm a mum.
Wow. Your steel pan skills are good.
Yeah.
Your comedy skills are good.
Yep.
Mum, good.
Yep.
I met little man a few times.
Yep.
Great kid. Hyperactive.
Mm-hmm.
As most
yeah,
boys are.
he is.
Yeah, let's jump right into it.
Go ahead.
Little man, how old is little man?
3. He'll be 4 in August.
Time flies, huh?
Flies. Honestly, it is going by so quickly. I looked at pictures of my baby shower the other day and I thought, oh my God, this was 4 years ago.
How old was you when you had them?
32.
32. Was you in a relationship?
Nah, I wasn't.
Did you know father of your child for a while? Was it
No, do you know what it was?
You just tell one too many jokes?
I mean, one too many wines. It happens. I mean, we're all grown enough and all understand that sometimes you have unprotected sex. And when you're younger, they say if you have unprotected sex, you're going to get pregnant. You're like, that doesn't happen because that's not how it works. Yeah. And the average time it takes for people to have a baby is about 12 months when you're in your 30s, right? Mine was the once. And boom.
Really?
Preggers.
So was it the first time you slept with that? So why didn't you use protection?
Because as I said, sometimes, I mean, there's so many children in the world today. It wasn't all, hunky-dory. And yeah, I guess it just happened.
So you wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared.
Do you know what? I've been on the implant for quite a while.
Yeah.
Had the implant in my arm and that protected me. And it was a time that I was like, I'm going to take it out because I just want my body to breathe. And then this literally just happened in the midst of that. I was about 4 months into not being on the implant anymore, living my best life, single, free, and then that just happened.
And it's weird because they say that once you take out the implant, it takes a while for your body to get used.
Exactly.
So maybe your body was just... But you know what? Everything happens for a reason.
Do you know what? For me, I found out... So after me and my son's dad did what we did, we were still cool. I didn't get my period, but my best friend had just passed away. And it was literally the same week. No, sorry, the week after my best friend passed away. That's when my period was meant to start. And I thought, oh, it's just that I'm stressed because of his passing. That's why my period hasn't come. And then I feel like, when we have the gut feeling, we know what's going on. We know what's happening with our body because my period usually comes like on time. And then it was like, I think I'm pregnant. And I literally just went to the hospital because I lived on top of a hospital. And I went downstairs, went checked it out. They were like, oh my God, you're pregnant. Especially they were excited because I'm in my 30s. You lived
on top of the hospital?
Yeah, just by Central Middlesex. I was behind the hospital. So I just walked downstairs.
Yeah, so it's not on top, but...
No, I mean, I'm not on the 7th
That's
floor.
What I was thinking
on the Michael Hunter wing. Like, I went downstairs, not even a 5-minute walk. Then it was really excited. Oh my God, you're pregnant. I was just like... Great. And then I looked at the date of my due date, and my due date was the 16th of August, and my best friend's birthday was the 18th of August, the one who passed away. So for me,
it's a present.
That was it. I got pregnant in the month he passed away, and then I had a baby in the month you were born. I couldn't argue.
Wow. So you went and told the father of the child?
Yeah. Straight. I told him like the next day, and I told him, and he was just like, all right, cool.
Let's do this.
Just do it. He came round that day. Like, cool, let's talk about this. We did, and he was like, all right, cool, let's do it, kind of thing. Then he was about for a couple of months. Then he kind of ghosted.
So it was about during your pregnancy?
Yeah. So for the first couple of months, probably, I found out I was pregnant the 10th of December. So he was there like December. And then mid-January, he got a bit funny and a bit distant. So I'm like, what's going on? And then do you know what he said to me? He's like, oh, I've been asking my friends, and some of my friends don't think that the baby's mine. Were they there? Were they in the room? Were they? So how would you? Because I always think it's funny when men say, it can't be mine, it's not mine. Did you have unprotected sex? Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know her ovulation days? No. So you actually don't know if it could be yours or not.
Did you suggest we could do a DNA test?
Absolutely. And do you know why? Because if my brother came home with a baby and it was just they had sex one time, I'd want to know for sure. So I didn't take any offense. I was like, let's do a DNA because I know it's your child. I've got no issues. You're going to pay for it. But no, it's not an issue. You have to be realistic. It was the first time we had sex. It's not something that happens normally.
Which you could see on his side of you because he doesn't know you.
Absolutely.
He doesn't know who the week before, the month or the week after.
You have to be realistic with things like this, right? He don't know me, I don't know him. So really and truly, it could have been somebody else's and I could have been lying because women do that. Let's not act like they don't.
A lot.
Do you know what I mean? I could have just chosen him. But in reality, if I had a choice, it definitely would not be him.
Where's he from?
Ghana. And yes, he's still got the accent. As I said, it's the wine.
Wait,
it is
you,
the
hold
wine.
Hold on. Charlie. what we saying? He's still got the accent. What we saying here?
It's not fully fresh, but it's got twinges.
What we saying here? What we saying? We're saying if you got the accent that's got twinges, you're a no-go.
I don't do accents. I don't.
Really?
No.
So they
do you know
have
what
to sound
accents I could
proper
do?
British.
I could do a Jamaican accent and I could do a Trini accent. And I think those are probably about it. And then, yeah, I don't even like American accents.
Hey.
No, I'm not really an accent girl, you know.
So you just like them fully London, not even a Birmingham accent or
No, I like hood guys. I like London hood guys.
Wow, go on.
Yeah, like oi, my G, like I like that.
Hey, my size.
I like that, and he wasn't saying that. Yeah,
that's a whole different topic. That
I
the
know.
female says you like hood guys. I mean, not all hood guys, but hood guys are known to come with certain troublesome in comparison to good guys. So you like a bit of trouble then.
But I think that you can be a good guy and still be a hood guy as well.
You can, but
yeah, I mean,
let's not.
I don't mind if you smoke weed more than sell it, but you can still be hood.
Oh, you
Yeah.
See, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, she's a comedian, so we don't know she's being
I'm being deadly serious.
She doesn't mind if you smoke it. You can sell it just a little bit.
Don't get high off your own supply, honey.
No,
just
true.
smoke it. Don't sell it.
So Charlie comes in your life, right?
Yes.
He marinate you some, peanut soup, kenke and fufu,
can you
right?
please?
And then, so he goes missing.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know, my friend's saying.
Yeah.
And you offered him a DNA test.
Yeah.
Let's touch on the DNA test quick. What's your opinion? I'm on the stance where DNA tests should be made mandatory.
Yeah.
As a female, what's your view on that?
I'm not opposed to it at all. I think there's a lot of things that happen where we take offense to things and there's no offense taken. Example, a woman might feel like you are being bad mind to ask for a DNA test when you're just trying to sort yourself out. And then there's men who think when women take them to CSA, we're being bad mind, but you should be given money anyway.
I think those are two different things.
They're two different things, but I'm saying that there's a stigma behind both of them of people just being bad mind and being spiteful, and it's not that. I
I believe if you take someone to CSA, it's obvious why you're doing it because that's your child. So
men feel like you are being spiteful for doing that.
I doubt that very much.
Oh my goodness, go knock some of your guy friends.
I would love to meet a guy.
A woman wouldn't have to take a man to CSA if he did what he was meant to do.
Sometimes men are in a difficult situation.
Pay for your child.
When it's hard out there, it's hard. Not all guys are hood guys. They
pay for your child. I don't really.
But see, when we say pay for a child, sometimes I believe if men can't afford to financially pay, they should make up for it in other ways, such as maybe take the child half of the week.
But if he was doing that, then I doubt the woman would go to CSA. That's my point.
Yeah. So I personally.
But if you're not doing anything and then I take you CSA, you're telling me I'm being spiteful, is it?
I think those are whatless men. I think if your mother of your child takes you to CSA, she's not being spiteful. She just needs help financially, and where you can help.
And it's not even that. We always need help. Like I'm in a very good job. I'm great in regards to my finances. I still took my son's dad CSA just because if you're not going to be there time-wise, you're going to be there in some type of way. And that £23.84 that comes out every Tuesday is in our son's name. I just want you to be reminded of that. And I take that £23.84 and my son lives his best life.
I think, I agree with you. And I think if anyone says no to that, the man is actually being spiteful.
A lot of the time, women will say, oh, it's only £23. What's the point? But do you know,
it accumulates.
4 times 23 is nearly £100. You know what you could do with that £100? And it's not the point, it's that, and this is going into something else. If you put £100 away for your child every month from the day they're born until they're 18, that's 20 grand.
Okay.
So that £23.84 is gonna.
Well, this is how Poundland is one of the leading shops in the world, in the country, because it's started a pound. Okay, so we touched on that.
Yeah.
So you believe DNA test should be, I believe it should be made mandatory because, like you said, some women take offense to it. And I think to eliminate that, I don't want to offend my woman or the mother of my children. And I don't want to, obviously, she's emotional, whatever. And she might not have cheated or seen someone else.
I wouldn't say mandatory.
I think it should be mandatory.
I think because if we're in a relationship, the child should be yours. But I get it. But I wouldn't say it's mandatory. If I had a husband and he said to me, take a DNA test, excuse me, that I think is disrespectful.
But you see, that's where the problem comes in. Because history has shown us over and over time that a man and a wife are in a happy relationship for 30 years, right? And then halfway through, 15 years into that relationship, she gets pregnant. And the man assumes, that's my baby. 20 years down the line, when the child is 15, we find out it wasn't his.
I think that's rare, though.
It's more common than we think.
I don't know.
But to
I think DNA test should be taken, but I don't think it should be mandatory.
Why not?
I don't know, because I just feel like if you have to test your wife or your woman when she says she's pregnant, then the relationship's already sour.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. But it happens all too often.
I think it shouldn't have to be mandatory, except if it's what the man wants. If the man wants it,
no. But now we're asking for trouble. As you said, if your husband came to you and said, "Babe, I want a DNA test."
So you think that as soon as you say you're pregnant, when you go to clinic and that, and they say you're pregnant, they should just run a DNA? Boom.
Yeah, I think whatever the stage is, let's say before baby's born, they say, "Look, guys, we just want to know that this is the form that you have to consent. We have to draw blood," and it gives that couple a chance. The father be like, "Yeah, we're good." The wife will be like, "Yeah, no problem." Or if there is a problem, it gives them that chance. Like, because there's a lot of things that happen, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. One, is not fair for the actual father who's out there who's not known, and for more serious reasons. If that child gets ill, let's say when he's 12, 13, 14, and we need a blood transfusion, and only then to find out that's not the father.
The thing is, I think, me personally, that would absolutely eat me up inside. I would, if I knew I've got a baby and I've told this guy he's the dad and he's not the dad, that will haunt me.
We hear you, but as you said, as I said, as you know, as I know, as you've seen, as I've seen, it happens all the time.
It does.
Men are raising kids out there who are not their kids. It's not fair on the man that's raising the kid. It's not fair on the kid, and it's not fair on the biological father. And in some cases, in some rare cases, the woman don't even know neither.
That's true.
In some cases, the woman is like probably a one-night stand somewhere, wasn't, and in some cases, it could be of a horrible situation where the woman could have got raped, and she doesn't have the courage to tell anyone because whatever reason, she's unaware. As far as she's concerned, that didn't happen. No way, this is our baby.
I think they should be available, but I'm not sure if I like the word mandatory.
Do you know why I say mandatory? Because the reason why I would say mandatory, because it eliminates that fight between man and woman.
Fair.
Because if as you said, I come to you, babe, I think we should do it. You'd be like, what? Pack your stuff, off you go. And I could understand. But if the government says it now, hey.
Then that's just a cop-out, I think, for the guys.
No, it's not a cop-out for the guys. Why is it a cop-out for the guys?
Because you want it, but you're hoping that the government are going to enforce it.
No, some guys don't even want it because they don't think like it.
I just think guys chat rubbish. Most of you don't even want the government to know your government name, but you're out here wanting the government to be doing mandatory DNA tests.
No, but in some cases, some men are happy for that child. They raise that child. and only to find out it's not theirs. So some men don't even think about it, don't even want it.
Yeah. I just feel like this isn't something that I've heard of very often. I know it happens. We've all watched Jerry Springer, rest in peace, man like Jerry, but I don't think it's as common as maybe you do, or maybe your friendship circle. I don't know what happens in your group chat.
I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna do the statistics, see how many men out there knowingly are raising kids that are not theirs, and we'll put.
How would they know?
Because later on it comes out. Later on the partner tells them. You know it happens. Anyway,
it does happen.
So back to Chale. So he says no to the DNA test.
No, he never said no.
Oh, so he did it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's paying $23.84 for a child he knows is his.
And what was his reaction once it found out it was his?
Do you know why he was dumb, yeah? Because, so after I had my son, he came because I was at my mum's, because I moved back into my mum's for a bit once I had him. And he came, we did like the swabs or whatever. And then he's like, obviously he's going to post it, whatnot. Yeah. I said, all right, cool, minor. I was like, sure, because I can post it. And it's like, he thought maybe I was going to try to do some bandulu. Like, no, brother. No. I was like, no, you take it in it. So it's all on you. The Friday before the DNA test comes back, he comes over again. He gives me £100 and he's just like, yeah, take this. Because we used to call him the child.
Take this for the child. Yeah.
And that was another argument because my son's got a name in it. Don't call him the child. Because the child, yeah? No. Anyway, you gave me £100 before the DNA test came. So if you thought it wasn't you, why are you giving me this money? Because wouldn't you wait for the test to come in 2 days?
Maybe it was just being nice.
No, that's stupid. Because first of all, oh, no, I don't think it was yours for months.
Is that the accent?
I'm not trying to offend nobody, yeah? Then it wasn't yours all of a sudden. But then so during the pregnancy, so he was there until about January. He ghosted. Then he come back in April. We did the scan and he was able to see that it was a boy, whatever. He ghosted again for like a month or two. Then he came back and then we went IKEA and we bought some Kayleigh units.
So what? When he's ghosting in and out, what's your thought process here?
I don't like inconsistency.
So what are you thinking?
I'm like, I understand the situation because we're not in a relationship, right? You're trying to kind of do the right thing, but it's like your demons are still kind of fighting. Yeah? That's cool. I let him have his chance because I'm a big believer in letting people have their chance and let them have their moment. So he was fighting with himself. He wasn't necessarily fighting with me. I just think that he was quite childish in some of the things that he done. And then when I would basically say he's childish, then you want to just be trying to flip out. Anyway, I didn't like the idea of that. And that's why once I had my son, I told his dad in the evening of me having his son, after I got myself out of my C-section, out of whatever, and then it was like, all right, cool. Now
so did you know him from around the way? Was it because you know his dad at this point now? How did that come about?
No, I knew his uncle.
Okay, so he's from around the way kind of thing.
Yeah, no, we didn't know each other. We just met on a dating site. We was kind of talking, and then we met.
And but you knew his uncle before then?
No.
So
I met his uncle after, and his uncle was very kind of involved. Was really cool, and he would take my side a lot, and then him and his nephew would kind of argue a bit. But his uncle was good. However, there was one time that his uncle never replied to my message, and it was like, okay. And then it kind of happened again, called, no answer. And then a few days later, I decided to block his uncle and block him because I'm the kind of person that I can be like, oh, you can still have access to me even though we're not really friends. And I felt like I didn't want them to see my son grow up and for me to do all the great things to my son and them to have access. If they want to speak to me, they can call me. I've never blocked that side of it. It's just like my WhatsApp stories and stuff.
Okay.
You can still call me. You can still message me. You know where I live. I'm still the person that if his dad was to call me today, I'm still going to answer because that's still my son's dad. He will never put the differences aside, even though we don't have any differences.
I was about to say, what's the differences?
Couldn't tell you. He came back. So after his inconsistency during the pregnancy, all right, cool. Then he was there. Then my son was 13 days old when I got him registered. So about the 11th day, that's when we found out. When he found out that it was his, even though we knew this. Anyway, he then said, oh, so what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, I'm going to get him registered. He was like, oh, what's his full name? So I gave him his full name. Obviously, his surname's my surname. What? But he's my child. Excuse me? Because 11 days ago, my brother, he wasn't your youth. But now he's your child because you found out that 99.9% he's yours. I already knew this. But for inconsistency reasons, I'm not going to have my son go school and be having a name of somebody that doesn't care about him enough because it's too inconsistent. And I'm going to be there 24/7. You're going to try to waltz in, I don't know, once or twice every 6 months, and he's going to be carrying on your legacy. I don't think so. For me, my family is massive. I love my family legacy. I love my granddad and what I come from. So I was very proud to give my son my surname. If there was a man in his life, he was doing what he needed to do, and as his dad, then I wouldn't have minded giving him the surname. But you're going to come and beat your chest today and tell me what I should be naming your child.
So did he come to register the name?
No. He was having my surname, so I don't need you there. Thanks, sir.
Oh, you didn't need him there. So what if he said, I want to come just for support anyway?
Why would you want to do that? To see me name my child after myself?
So do you
He's
think
never going to get your name.
So do you think at this point you are being, are you putting the child first or are you putting yourself
Of course. Do you know how many of my friends have surnames different to their brothers and sisters of a man that doesn't check for them? How do you think that makes them feel?
That's a good point.
I don't think that's fair. My son should have a surname of a family to carry on that legacy of people that care about him, that want to be there for him. So it's nothing to do with me, because if he was there, absolutely. African men are very proud. So he wanted that surname because that's his child.
So Caribbean men are not proud?
They are proud, but there's a lot of Caribbeans that have their mum's surname. I got my mum's surname.
That's another conversation, ladies
Just
and
saying.
gentlemen. Chale, wherever you are, please let us know. Wait, Chale, my brother, Kwesi. We won't even say his name, but I'm going to call him Kwesi.
He's a Yao, actually.
Chale, I'm going to have a drink on you.
I think a lot of times people do things and they always think that people are coming from a bad place, and it's not.
No, I mean, that's the whole point of this show, because I think, me personally, I think a lot of us were raised in traumatic homes, as
Absolutely.
in single parent homes.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so fascinating is a lot of us, first and foremost, I think parenting has got better.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, for me as a father of 3, all my kids, I took them to play groups. All my kids, I took them to park. I did all of these things. I told them I love them every single moment I get. Our parents never did that. And I'm sure our grandparents did it even less.
Yeah.
So I think in that respect, we're getting better. You know,
I think,
you see more fathers pushing pushchairs now than our parents and our grandparents.
Yeah.
In that respect. However, what still fascinates me is our generation, we are still using kids as a weapon, knowing the pain it causes not having both parents in. Now, parenting doesn't have to come from the same home.
Absolutely.
I can parent from London while my baby or my child is in Liverpool, or America for that matter, or wherever, or Accra in your case, wherever. You know, we don't have to be in the same household. Some people be like, what do they mean Accra?
Oh,
basically, Charlie's from Accra.
That was so rude.
So for that reason, I believe that's the point of this show. Let's hear your story. Let's hear his story. Let's hear her story.
Yeah.
What did you do? What did she do? What did they do? Then we might have a different perspective, because if someone was to hear that, oh, your child has only your last name, they'll be like, oh, what kind of woman does that? Or what kind of man? But once they hear your explanation, and you just said you got many friends who's got kids and their sibling has different surnames and their fathers don't even check for them, I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I think my mum named all of us after her, and she's got 6 sisters, and none of her 6 sisters' kids all have the same surname. That's just because some of them got married and whatever their situation is. And it's fascinating for me, because it was like, my mum could have obviously chosen my dad. She's got 2 kids for my dad. And then her other 2 kids, she's got 2 kids for her husband, and they've still got her surname because they had the kids before they got married. But I'm just trying to say, it's not that my mum wasn't even in relationships with these people. It's just that she wanted all of her kids to have the same surname, because she wasn't sure when the men's going to clock out, because in reality... A man can clock out when he wants, you know.
Yeah, but that's a hard conversation then. Because what? I'm in a relationship and you telling me you're going to give my child your last name because you don't know when I might clock out.
It's real. And I think men can clock out when they want.
I hear that. And it happens all too often. But then are we living life presuming they're going to clock out?
I guess, well, I'm not my mum, so she kind of went through what she had to go through, and she did what she needed to do. But I know for me, it then gets a bit techie, because the next time I have a baby, if I'm with that person, then I want my child to have their surname. But then I also feel like that's why I want to be married, because then we don't have to argue about it.
Yeah, I guess. But then what happens when divorce comes, which it happens too often?
That's fine.
Okay.
Because I might just keep my married surname anyway.
You go, that's your alias.
Yeah.
Or your parking ticket.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's in that. But I just think there's a lot of things that are very personal, and I think we keep trying to paint all situations with the same brush, and it's not that. I personally, 100%. I feel like a lot of the things I've done, I'm not a spiteful person. I'm not doing it for clout. I'm not doing it to be bad mind. I don't put up any bad mindness or any memes about my son's dad. I don't have to do all of that. I'm very strong within myself as a parent. I don't even like to use the word single parent all the time, because being single, what's that got to do with my parenting? It's actually really irrelevant. I'm a parent. My child gets whatever he wants when he needs. But I also know that, because you said it before about kind of like single parents, it's traumatic, but every situation is different, because
there's some beautiful single parent.
I just feel like that's something that we're kind of known by, and in a lot of cases it's quite derogatory, because you look down on people who are single parents just naturally because you think they're struggling.
I don't think it's so much as we look down on them, for me, and I think it just is so common.
Sometimes it's a strength, which is not. It's a strength, yes, but
exactly.
I think it's a strength that we live on. I don't want to. Oh, Kayleigh's doing so great. Oh, and she's a single parent as well.
No, but I don't think if someone was to say that, I would see it as a praise.
I know, but that's my point. So sometimes we live on that. We live on that struggle. We like to. There's this something about black women where we like to. Oh, I did it all on my own. I didn't have no help from nobody, and that's not a strength.
I mean, I do understand, and I do agree with you when you say when a lot of our women will say, and men in some extent, I did it on my own.
It's like we're fighting for who had the worst struggle.
That is true.
Because I did it on my own and I had one child. Well, I did it on my own with 1 foot and I got 3 kids. Okay? Like, we don't always have to fight.
That would be sad.
I mean, that would be sad. I mean, praise you. But it's like we're always looking for an extra struggle, and we don't always need that. So for me, I'm a parent. I just happen to be single. And I just don't always say I'm a single parent. I'm a mum.
You're a mum. So 11 days old.
I was going to say, who's 11?
Sorry. 11 days old.
Yeah.
Registered. He didn't come. When did he then show up?
He showed up a couple of weeks later, and then he held my son for the first time. Didn't even know how to hold his neck properly.
Even
honestly, I don't know what I was thinking.
Did you just say he didn't even know how to hold his neck?
Didn't even know. And the thing is, because he's Ghanaian as well, his head was a bit heavy on one side, and he didn't even know.
Self note to Francis: don't bring comedians on this, show. Did you say? Because he's from Ghana, his head was heavy on one side.
Yeah, because you know what I'm talking about. You know the
I don't get me. Nope. This has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But he had to learn somewhere to hold the neck properly. And was that his first child?
No, and this is the thing. He had a child in Ghana as well.
Okay.
And this is why I feel like he felt like he was doing good, because he hadn't seen his daughter was like about 4, and he hadn't seen her in the flesh. Oh. So secretly, it's like he does this. Anyway, so he hadn't seen her in the flesh because you hadn't been bothered to go back to Ghana to go and check for your ute. So because you've seen my child 3 times now, I should be grateful. Because I haven't even seen my one back in Ghana. So you should be grateful that I've seen him 3 times.
Sounds like you really hate men from Ghana.
No,
with the
honestly.
accent.
No, I'm just saying. No, but the thing is, yeah, I'm not bitter. Like, these are the cards that I've been dealt.
I don't think you're bitter. I mean,
No,
I've seen you with your son. You just keep it moving.
My son wants for nothing. We just came back from Jamaica last week. Like, we are good. His third holiday. My kid is bougie as... Say that? Can I say shit? He's bougie as everything.
Yeah.
As he needs to be. He has brioche and smoked salmon, and I'm spoiling my kid to be the way that I need him to be. He is very looked after, and he is great. He's definitely... He doesn't...
Bring the mic, please.
Oh, he doesn't quite understand what a dad is in some aspects.
Are you a good father?
Am I a good father?
Yeah.
No, because I'm a mother. I'm not supposed to be a good father. I'm not one of them women that on Father's Day, big up my chest because what's the relevance? I do what I can.
So do you still speak to Charlie?
No.
You don't speak? So he doesn't come check for his kid?
He doesn't. He was around last year for 6 months. And then...
in the area, in the country?
No,
or?
he was in my son's life for 6 months.
Okay.
And then he was giving me £100 cash. Because he went back to study, so he didn't have to give me any CSA. So he's like, all right, I'm going to give you £100 cash anyway. So I was like, all right, cool, minor. After about 3 months of him giving me the £100 cash, he's like, oh, can you take me off the CSA now? Because I'd rather just give you the cash. I was like, nah, because even if, like, my child's 3 now, I still got, 15 years of this? It's okay. There's going to be 1 year where it's going to be more than £23.84 per week. So I'll wait it
goes
out.
up.
It depends. Depends how good he's doing. Do you know what I mean? Right now he's not doing too great. So, £23 isn't, where need it to be. But grateful. Still take it. Adds up. But even if there's a couple of years where you don't have to give me anything, it's fine. But his name's still going to be coming. So every October when CSA are hollering at you, you might be mad about it. But secretly I'm sitting there like, oh, what's it going to be this year? But so he was around for 6 months. And then he was like, yeah, can you take me off CSA? I was like, nah, because I still don't really trust you. Do you know what I mean? And then... I was saying at my mum's again. My mum's my support system. And I've got like a really big support system. So I'm able to kind of really do this comedy stuff and do this music life and whatever. And then I said, oh, can you come and pick him up from my mum's? Because that's where I'm going to be. And he was like, nah, I'm not coming. I was like, so when were you going to tell me you weren't going to have him? Because I messaged him on the Friday and he was meant to have him the Sunday. He's like, no, because I'm not coming to pick him up from your mum's house. But why? Like, because I was actually going to be there. I was going to bring him out to the car. But now you're embarrassed. Because you haven't been doing what you needed to do, so you didn't want to see my mum. My mum's not the kind of person that's going to put you on whatever needs, because what relevance is that going to do? Do you know what I mean? So I feel like he was shooketh, and he decided he didn't want to come and have to deal with that, even though there was nothing to deal with. And then, from that moment, he messaged me and he said, well, it's your fault for giving me a child that I didn't want. I said, wow. So you was about for 6 months. You was doing up pictures. You were giving Christmas presents. You were trying to be dad of half a year because it was 6 months, and now all of a sudden it's the child you didn't want. Meanwhile, you've got another one on the way. So
now he's got three.
Now you've got 3. And he said to me, I don't mind my son not having my surname because my other 2 children have it. I said, fine, you win, brother. So then after that, I never even replied. I just blocked him because I said, I'm giving him energy. And what people need to understand is that I'm a big believer in energy. If I keep arguing with you and I'm giving you a certain type of energy, I'm going to be in a bad space. And who's going to get it? My child, because that's who I'm around all the time. And people feed off energies. I said, I'm not going to do that. And then since then, I haven't spoken to him. That's been just over a year. Haven't spoken to him. And I prefer the absence because you know why?
Have you
it's
blocked
not
him?
triggering. He's blocked on WhatsApp.
But he can call you.
He can call me. He can text me.
If he was to call you, said, I want to come see my son, would you allow him?
I would allow him not on that day.
Of course, not on the day, obviously.
What I've said to him as well, it's consistency or nothing. And the last time that I did message him, it was like...
What would you mean by consistency or nothing? Because he's not even sure if he's going to be consistent.
Well, until you are sure, then there's no point.
So what if he does 3 months on, 3 months off?
It's not good enough for my child. Why does my child deserve that?
But you wouldn't stop him from seeing from
it's
he
difficult.
Comes correct.
If you come correct, absolutely. But it's not fair. My child doesn't deserve that. No child deserves that. Personally, I think absence is better than inconsistency.
How do we know that?
That's just what I believe for myself and for my child. I think it's... If somebody ghosts you, yeah, you'd rather that person ghost you so you can make up your decision whether or not you want to keep giving the energy to that person?
Some would
Or would you prefer somebody to message you today, tell you that they're going to come and see you, and then you don't hear from them for the rest of the night, and they keep doing that every 6 weeks?
Some would argue I'd rather see you once or twice than never see you again.
Don't you think that we're accepting minimum then?
No, because if you there's case for both, but I believe if you allow him, let's say he comes from 3 months, 4 months, goes missing, there's a possibility that 4 months could turn into 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months. But whereas if you shut it off, we're shutting it off. And although little interaction your son has with his dad, we don't know what harm or good it's doing. The one thing I can tell you...
that's why that allows men to do the bare minimum, because you're telling us women that we should accept it because it's better than having nothing. I'm not saying you personally. No.
But
that's what I'm saying. It's
this is
you should be grateful that he's even seeing him.
No. This is nothing.
Really?
This is what we hear. This is nothing to do with the mum or the dad. But this is about the child.
Exactly. And that's not fair. Would you, if you had a job, that job was treating you like rubbish, do you stay or do you quit? Your job says to you, I don't even feel like paying you in February and March. I'm going to just give you half the money in June, and then you might get a little bit more in December.
I would personally quit, but there's loads of people who then stay because loads of people work in such jobs.
Because you're accepting the bare minimum.
It's not. It's not.
It's the bare minimum.
It's not as simple as that, because me, I can tell you the pain it feels when dad's not around. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I can also tell you the joy it feels when I see dad.
Yeah.
So I could tell you both sides. The pain is painful. The joy is joyous. So what I'm saying to you is, if we was to cut him off, say, you know what, Chale, forget it, I'm done, right? You good, but we are shutting that door off forever from your son. And I don't think that's fair.
Some people are not going to think it's fair. It's about my child, and my child does not deserve inconsistency. I don't care how it's put on the table. I don't care. This is why I think we're struggling, even within our relationships with our friends. We've got rubbish friends, and we keep them around because we're told to be grateful to still have friends.
No, but
there's things that I think people don't realize that are more detrimental. We grow up and we say, oh, we don't even need therapy because we're great. But more time, a lot of black men are inside their houses breaking down. But because people don't speak about it, we feel like it's okay. There's still a lot of trauma in somebody being inconsistent, because that then says that all of your relationships in life are allowed to be inconsistent because you accepted it from somebody who didn't even really want you. Do you think I want somebody who doesn't really want my child to give them energy? Because that's bad energy.
But you see, again, I actually agree with where you're coming from. He doesn't want the child. I agree with that based on his actions. But which you alluded to earlier, he's still sorting himself out. Some people take longer than others. Some people do. Some people do. Some people do it quicker.
Excuse.
I'm not making excuses. I'm not making excuses.
Do you know what I can say, right? Do you know who was sorting themselves out?
Who?
Me. Because my best friend just died and I found out I was pregnant. Could I run away? Could I go anywhere? Could I take my time to sort myself out? Or did I have to sit there in my pregnancy and try to heal from losing my best friend and being pregnant at the same time? And also knowing that my son's dad's probably not really going to be in his life. So who needed the time away, me or him? But I've got to give him the time because he needs to heal. But us as women, we just have to just get on with it, love.
No, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying get on with it.
But why is it acceptable for them to take their time?
Let me make this crystal clear. It's not acceptable that a father should be in and out the son's life or the daughter's life. I think such men are whatless. They need help, like real help, because the pain that they are passing on the child is deeper than we can imagine. Like, under no circumstances, unless, I said it before and I'll say it again, unless if that parent is violent towards the son or the daughter, then remove that man or woman away from that child.
Violence isn't the only type of abuse.
Well, neglect is an abuse. We agree. But there's different kind of neglects. In my case, all I'm advocating for is, let's find a way as parents to try be present in our kids' lives.
Do you know who can decide if they want to be present in their kid's life?
Who?
The parent who's not there.
Yes and no.
The parent who's not there, if they wanted to.
But he might not be ready.
What's that got to do with me and my child?
Nothing to do with you.
But I'm saying I just
Nothing
feel
to do
like
with
he's allowed to not be ready.
No,
But I've had no choice but to be ready.
It's not that he's allowed. It is, what's the better alternative?
The better alternative is being consistent for my child or not being there at all.
And I think that's where perhaps we can find a middle ground. I think
The
that's
middle ground is somebody wanting to be there. You cannot
he might want to be there.
You cannot force somebody to be there.
Of course you can never.
As far as I'm concerned, right, I think you might not think it, but it's an excuse because he might not be ready, or he might be going through this, or he might want to be there, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. Okay.
Let's play it out.
But
let's say it's an excuse. Let's say he doesn't want to be there, but one day, let's say for the month he does. So are you seriously saying that you are better off as a child not to have your dad in your life forever than having...
Who knows if it's going to be forever? I just think people go to the extreme. It might not be forever, but right now...
But that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yes, but I think inconsistency is worse than not being there. Because I think when somebody's not there, you can accept it. I think that's an easier acceptance that person's just not really about.
We can accept it as
he's
adults.
There on Sunday and then Wednesday, and then I'll see him in March 2027, then again in 2029. That to me is not fair. That's playing with somebody's emotions. That is being emotionally abusive. That is telling somebody that they're good enough, but they're not good enough. They're good enough, they're not good enough. And that makes somebody question even more, because then you think, am I enough? I don't want my child to sit there and think he's not enough. And I think personally, his dad not being there for now is probably easier for him to deal with.
For now.
I've never shut the communication, and I've said that.
But it's easier now, but we don't know the trauma that's doing for him.
We don't, but I also feel like we come from a generation where we seem to think that kids will do things and it's just like, oh, that's because their dad wasn't around. But there's people who do things who have two parents in their family. Sometimes things just happen, right? But I just think we go around accepting the bare minimum, and then therefore it's not going to help the next generation, because if my dad wasn't there for me a lot and I think I'm okay, what's going to make me be there for my kid? Because my dad did it and he was all right. Then his dad did it and he was all right. So therefore, aren't we just starting a generational curse? So
then you think not being there at all will be better than half not being there?
I think that's what's better. That's me personally. I do. I don't think anybody should be if you're not inconsistent with work, if you're not inconsistent with your friends, if you're not inconsistent with having sex with somebody you've been seeing for the last 6 years, why should you be inconsistent with my child? That's because you're choosing not to. Everything is a choice, and what you continue will allow. If I keep allowing you to be inconsistent, you're going to do it, and you're going to keep getting away with it.
But are you doing it in terms of...
I'm not doing anything. My line's open. You can call me.
I mean, because you said we have that conversation, you have to be consistent, and he shows up and he's not consistent. So that means you can't have that conversation again. So you're not going to let him through because he proved himself.
He was inconsistent in my pregnancy.
Yeah.
He was inconsistent in the first year of my son's life. He ghosted like through year 2. When from 1 to 2, when my son was 2.5, then you came about again. That's inconsistency. You've proven to me you've been inconsistent. Pregnancy year 1, year 2. Why year 3 going to be different?
We don't know.
We don't know.
He could have won the lottery. He could have had a serious
accident. But why do I have to accept it?
You don't.
Because again, you're telling me, because this could have happened to him and that could have happened to him. But what happened to me? What happened to the mums? I just don't feel like there's somebody advocating, and it's always, we're having a conversation about his dad not being there. Shouldn't we be focusing on the parent who is there? Me.
Oh yeah, we do, and we.
No, but I'm just saying.
I think we can't even say that, because a lot of us who come from single parenting, which the majority of us are mothers, we hold our mums up high. So maybe it's something we need to voice over, but we definitely
we do.
And at the very top of the program, I said, "What an amazing job you do."
Again, we should be praising our mums, yeah.
We do.
But again, what we're doing is making a woman have to be strong in her strength because she has no choice, because a man's decided he didn't want to step up.
Yes, and that's the man's stupidity. That is
Yeah,
the man.
I don't want to be a strong black independent woman. I don't want that for myself. I don't want it for my daughter. So do you know who I start to hold accountable for things? My son. Even though he's 3 years old, there's things I have to instill in him to let him know that this is not okay. You're either fully in and you're out. And I want him to know that from having a baby. I want him to know that from his friendships. I want him to know that with his education. I want him to know that with his relationships. You're fully in or you're out. There shouldn't be no dipping the toe in the water.
So what kind of conversations do you think you and him will have when he says, "Mommy, how come Daddy wasn't around?"
Because your dad decided that he didn't want to be a parent at that time.
And if he says, "Did you leave the door open for him?"
Of course. I can show you a text message where I said, when you decide that you want to, have a relationship with your son, just message me. I'm not bad, man. And I feel like a lot of people want the woman to be.
Why do you feel that?
Because I think that's the easier excuse. He's probably told his friends I've stopped him from seeing my son, which I haven't done. It's just probably easier to swallow. So I think a lot of times men lie. But
women lie too?
Yeah, they do. Don't get me wrong. And I know it's not all hunky-dory, but if he wanted to see my son, do you know what he could do? He could call. He could message.
Would you ever call him and say, your son wants to speak to you? Would you ever try?
No, because my son doesn't want to speak to him because he's never asked me to speak to him.
See that notion there where if my son or my daughter wants to speak to you, then I will let him speak to you. Should you not think at times we need to encourage them? Because I'd say this, a simple example, nothing to do with this. We can easily say if my child wants to go to bed, they will go to bed. Mm-hmm. They don't go to bed. They're playing.
Yeah.
But we have to then force them, go to bed,
Absolutely.
clean that. So shouldn't we, because a lot of people say that, well, if your child wants to speak to you, then, should we not, phone your dad, phone. Like, I know we're doing it over and over again.
When you send your child to bed, they kind of do what they want. But do you know what they have? They have a bed to go and sleep in. How can I call somebody that I don't even know if they're going to answer the phone? You cannot call somebody who's not there. It doesn't actually make sense. Oh, Shari, come, let's call your dad.
No, you don't say that. You called it.
Oh, do you want to call your dad? How can I tell my child about somebody who doesn't exist to him?
This because he's fully unaware yet.
No, because what you're doing is enabling the behavior and telling the dad that it's okay to not really be there because your child's going to want you anyway.
Your child's always going to want. Child's always.
My child always wants sweets and I don't give it to him all the time. That's
for his benefit.
Oh, but his dad's allowed to be inconsistent and that's not for his benefit.
No, we're not. I'm going to make this clear again. I am definitely saying dads shouldn't do that. And this is why I want to have more open conversations like this.
The onus or the onus is...
The onus?
The onus. Sorry. The onus. No, the onus is on the parent who's not there. You could speak to me.
100%.
You could speak to me all day about me being a single parent and me being the only parent for my son. But do you know who'd be better in the seat? The parent who's not there.
No. I think both of you will be just as good in the seat because a lot of parents who are not there... You have to ask me
why they're not there.
But a lot of parents who are also not there, they don't really understand the difficulties and challenges as well as the beauty that goes on being there.
Sometimes they just don't care. I think sometimes we
need our eyes opened.
But do you know what? There's good and there's bad in the world. There's people who do and people who don't. Sometimes you just can't force it. I'm not forcing anybody to have a relationship with my son. Anybody. You could be mum, dad, brother, sister, auntie, uncle, godparent. I am not forcing anybody to have a relationship with my son. You do what you want, and if you wanted to, you would.
But the beauty is the door's always open.
Door's always open.
Let's talk about being a parent.
Yeah.
Not a single parent, being a parent. What are the challenges you face?
The challenges I think I face is doing so much that it's hard for me to keep a routine for my son. And then I can end up giving in kind of easily sometimes. So for an example, I know my son's supposed to be in bed between 8 and 8:30. But then it's like, oh, but you finished nursery at 6. We get home. Now we've had dinner. I don't want to put you to bed straight away. And then we might just chill and watch a movie because I'm trying to get that time with him. So I feel guilty in a sense because I've got to have a 9 to 5. I don't have somebody who can help me get him from nursery. So then he's got to do the full days. So by the time I get him, we don't have enough time. So I don't really have a routine, because then I'm losing out on time for him. And then I can't say on a weekend I could spend all the time with you because I've got a show, or I've got this, or I've got that. So it can be quite difficult. So sticking to a routine is one of my challenges, because unfortunately there's no one in my household to help. A challenge for me is also when you wake up and there's a day that you just don't want anything. You just want to stay in bed. You just want to go in a bath at 1 p.m. You don't even want to eat too much. I don't have that. Do you know why? Because there's no one to take my kid. So who's trying to bathe at 1 p.m. when you've got your child saying, Mummy, the sun's outside. It's time to wake up. So it's a challenge of there's nobody for me to rely on at the time that I need them.
Are you proud of yourself?
I'm extremely proud of myself. Do you know why I'm proud of myself? Because I do all of these different things, and I'm not one of them people that say, oh, my son is the reason I live. No, he's not, because I was living before I had him. He's not the reason I breathe.
Too much, clearly,
exactly.
on that night with
He's not the reason why I go to work. I go to work because I got a job and I need to get some money. But it's like, I'm very proud of myself because I've done everything that I've needed to do. And since I've had him, I've been able to elevate and grow in a lot more ways on a personal and a mature level. Also, as I said, my son wants for nothing. My son wants to go on holiday. Let's go on holidays. And what I love about going on holiday with my son is that, first of all, he wants his donut and his fruit shoot for the flight. Told you he's bougie. And his 5 ices for his orange juice on the plane. But he's very
bougie, or you made him bougie?
No, this is what he asks for. Like, because we will go out. I'm a person who speaks my mind, and my son, you're able to speak your mind. I am not raising a black boy who is not able to say what he wants. If he wants 2 lemons in his apple juice with a straw, excuse me, waitress, this is what my son wants. I don't tell him what to say. It's about having that open environment for him to say what he wants and what he needs. And that's what I like. I don't want him to be silent. But I say that to say I'm proud because he's getting an education that he wants. I can make him go nursery less days to save money, but I'm going to work hard to make sure that he can go as many days as he needs to. He does extracurricular activities as well. I work from home, so I'm very lucky. So he's able to get a lot of me.
Any more kids?
Absolutely. I don't want just the one. They can be as expensive as you need them to be. Not just one. I want 3.
Okay.
I want 3.
Chalet, you hear that?
Oh, no chance. And then people are like, I'll go back, so you've got the same baby for me.
So the next one has to be Caribbean,
how much
or
wine I drink.
I
don't mind. I just want somebody who is good and fun and funny. And whenever I manifest and I pray for a man, it's as much for me as it is for my son. Somebody who raises my son as their own. I think that's really important. And I think even though his dad's not there, yeah, you know, you said that you can raise a child from another household. You can also raise a child from a different family. So he's got
100%.
godfathers, and his godfathers are great. He's got my brother who's an uncle. I know it's not the dad, but they're still about getting male role models. And I think that's what's really important. And his godfathers, if I need them, they're there. So I still think we kind of have this notion, because there's times where if we say a dad's always needed, yes. But as I said to you, my best friend had passed away, right? He's got 4 kids. So then their dad's not there. So are we saying that they're going to have issues in their life because their dad's not there? Yes, because it was due to death, but he's still not there. But they've got other support systems. So we still have to look at it in the same way that there's other support systems that can help you try to raise a boy, even if their dad's not able to be there because of things like death, unfortunately, or because of things like whatlessness.
Yeah, I think let's clarify in saying let's have fathers and mothers there where possible, where necessary, and in unforeseen circumstances, then yeah, we look elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I really, because I would love to speak to a father who actively doesn't want to see his kids. How do you sleep at night?
It's mad.
You know, you actively not checking. Let's keep this kind of conversation going. Let's keep the doors open where possible. We'll leave it. I mean, look, that debate we had in consistency or none at all. I can see both sides. For me, I'm coming on. I'm hoping if we keep the door open, one day that 1 month will turn into 2 months, then 3 months, then 6 months, then a year, then boom. That's my hope, because I believe a lot of boys and girls are left at a disadvantage because parents are not stepping up. You know, and I think we could do better. We should do better. Most of us know that we know the pain.
I just want to say that I think some of it comes from accountability, of some of the accountability that women give their sons, which is why I'm trying to hold my son accountable from now. Because if you keep growing up and you don't have to be accountable, you can have a child out there that you don't have to account for because you've never been taught accountability.
That's
so
very true.
Therefore, it's not necessarily just my son's dad's issue, but it's an issue of accountability within not just the black community, because there are obviously dads in other communities that don't step up. But there's something where you weren't taught, because that should be something that you shouldn't be allowed to say, I don't want to do this. How does that even happen? You should have never, that should be nothing. As soon as somebody says they're pregnant for you and you've taken your mandatory DNA, as you say, you should step up because it's the right thing to do. If you don't step up, then I do have to think there's something that's gone on with the way you've been brought up and the things that you've been taught, and not accepting certain accountability.
Not always, but the chances are high. But not always.
Yes, it's deeper.
Some men are just, and women, what is your advice on people who drink too much wine with Africans in the vicinity?
Oh my God, don't do it. Stay clear. I would say, do you know what? Reality is, handle your situation in it. Because some people would look at me and be like, oh my God, her situation's crazy. And that's fine. But this is my situation, and I've owned my situation, because there's a lot of situations that could happen, but people got rid of their baby, so there's no evidence, but that's another story. But I'm just saying to say that my situation is my situation, and I handle it in the way that I need to handle it. I've got an amazing support system, so I can do it. But yeah, I think strap up, kids.
Strap up.
But the responsibility is from both parents, and only be a single parent if it's something that you can actually do. I'm okay being a single parent, because I can handle it, and not everybody can. If you know that's a part of your struggle, then
but you saying that's interesting, because some people don't even know if they're built for it.
You don't until you
there
have to go for it. Yeah. But as I said, I think there's a lot of times that we live on this struggle. And see how I'm a single parent now? Do you think I'm going to be a single parent again the next time? Because I'm not judging anybody, but there's some people who have got 3 kids by 3 different baby daddies, and none of them you was in a relationship. Exclusive is just something that they decided to make up one day. If he's not your boyfriend and you're not his girlfriend, you are single. You're single. Live your life.
Ready to mingle, protectedly.
Or get that implant back in. Mine is definitely back in, honey. I'm not ready for baby number 2.
The hood stood up. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Listen, my dear, thank you very much for having you on there. Let's finish off. What advice would you give to any little lady out there who's going through it as a single, as a parent, as a one parent?
You're stronger than you think, and your power is knowing who you are. And I think once people know who they are and they stand on their strengths, then they can do anything. And I would say as well, especially to black women, we are a lot better than what we've been told and what we've been taught. We are more than what we think. Go out, get your money, sis. Do what you need to do.
Providing you're not harming anyone.
As long, I think that's a given. You don't have to harm anybody in what you do.
Some people go out and make money.
No, go and get your money. In the terms I'm talking about, there's a lot of jobs out there that we can do, but there's a lot of people, a lot of black women that we're kind of bottom of the barrel in a sense, because it's what they give us. In terms of, you could have a job and Billy's going for 50k, and as a black woman you're going for 30k, because in your household 25k was seen as great, so you're going for the 30k, not realizing that you're worth so much more. You have to change your surroundings. You have to change people that you speak to and be open about things like this. We don't talk about finances, we don't talk about what we deserve, we talk about our relationships, we talk about going on holiday, we talk about shots, we talk about all of these different things, but there's other things that can help shape us, because we're not just that. And because we've been taught to not talk about it, we don't, and then we end up being bottom of the barrel. Have conversations with each other, people that you trust. Speak about what you're earning, and how I can do better. Because you know why? You don't have to just be a nursery nurse when you can be the nursery manager.
Oh, Charlie.
Glow up.
Hey.
Like there's so much, there's so much more to us. So much more to us. So go out and get yours.
I couldn't have said it any better. And men, this is from me to you. Do better.
Do better.
Like you know, we got 2 types of men when it comes to parenting. We got those who know the pain that we felt our fathers or mothers not being present, and we got those of us who know the joy that we feel when our mothers and fathers being present. Let's pass the joy. And for those of us who know the pain, that pain cuts deep. Let's not pass it on.
Time to break them generational curses.
We are going to start today. Miss where can they find you?
They can find me on social media. My Instagram names is Kaylee, which is Kayleigh. Loudmouth. I know that the way I spell Kaylee is a bit long. People are like Kayleigh.